Good night. We'll talk to Bear. Just celebrated my birthday like an hour ago, right? Cut the cake and they sang happy birthday. Yeah. My stepmother bought me a shirt. I should wear it, huh? No, I'm not gonna wear it. This robe keeps me warm, so I'm gonna wear my robe. Ugh. Yeah. And my stepfather gave me $10 for my birthday. And my younger stepbrother is giving me $50 for my birthday, right? 34 years old, guys. I'm getting old. I'll be 40 in 6 years, man. Yeah. Were you gonna watch the movie Ivan? I was, but the movie's not working, so. Yeah. God, your book is sick. I know, it looks a masterpiece, man. It is a masterpiece. Greatest fans novel written. But I guarantee there will be millions of fans who like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones better, right? I'm not surprised. Because I'm giving you a heads up, guys. Even though my book is very entertaining, the world building is not as rich. The history, the world building, like the lore of Lord of the Rings, it's richer than my book, obviously, when you read my book. When you read Lord of the Rings. That's why everyone considers J.R. Tolkien like a legend, because like he created such a beautiful mythological fantasy world. And the history is so deep and rich. You have all the ages and everything, right? First age, second age, third age. You have the history of the Numenorians and the elves and the dwarves and the orcs. Like, it's deep, man. Deeper and richer than even my book. But my book is the better story, obviously, than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Ivan's book is not as rich as Lord of the Rings in terms of the deepness and the history of the lore and everything of the world, the mythological fantasy world. But his story is better. Yeah, it's a better story. My characters are better. My story is better. It's a richer, better story. But the world building is not as rich and deep. My world building is deep too and rich too when you read it, but it's not as rich as like Lord of the Rings, man. Like, that's fucking rich. J.R. Tolkien has way more lands than me. Like, my book only has like 12, 13 locations around in my book. J.R. Tolkien has dozens of lands, and he has like the deep, rich history of the elves and the dwarves and the hobbits and yeah. It's richer, it's deeper, obviously. That's why some fans might like Lord of the Rings for my book, right? Oh, yeah, I'm saying, yeah. I guarantee you a lot of the Lord of the Rings fans, Lord of the Rings Reddit, might still like Lord of the Rings better than my book. Yeah, Ivan's book was a bit raw. It was a masterpiece, but I like Lord of the Rings better because the world building is richer and it's deeper. It's better than Ivan's book. Yes, guys, the world building may be better in my book in terms of the history of the elves, the language of the elves, and everything, and the orcs and the hobbits and the dwarves. But be honest, man, like, what book is more entertaining when you read it? My story is a more entertaining story. It's the better story in Lord of the Rings. As I read Lord of the Rings, Xanus is a better story than Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings has a richer world building, speech, history, and all that stuff, and way more lands. And in that sense, it's richer, right? Yeah. But my world building, I think, is more unique. With the North and the South, the North is holy, the South is cursed. That's fucking unique, man. And the South is the animal kingdom. Like, the North and the South are two different kingdoms, and the South is cursed, and the South is Aratat's kingdom, Aratat's territory. And the mountain regions, the mountain in Gilead's Pass in the South is the Bats region. Ephesus is the king out of that region. It's a more unique story, obviously. You have the humans living in the cursed South, the Southerns, and you have the humans living in the North, who are the Northerns, who are the Xanians, obviously. It's a more unique world, in my opinion, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Peter Jackson told me, yeah, even Lord of the Rings has richer lore, richer mythological history. It's richer than your book, but like your story is richer. It's better, Ivan. You're like, your story is better than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, it is. It's a better story. The Lord of the Rings story is amazing, but it's not as good as the Xanus story. The Xanus story is better, in my opinion, anyways. But there might be some haters out there, Ivan, who say Lord of the Rings is better and Game of Thrones is better. Yeah, if you like those books better, guys, I understand. I'm not going to judge you for it, right? Don't hate me, say, yeah. Well, I was man, is your history deep and rich? Yes, it is. It's a rich history. It's a deep history. But my story only has a 1,000-year history, whereas Lord of the Rings is thousands of years, man. Like, you guys from Sarah, like, why you decide to make it like that? I didn't want the history to be too long. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been good for the story. I'm like, no, for my story, you have a 1,000-year history, so it's a deep, rich history, but it's not like as deep as Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is thousands of years history, man. Like the first age, second age, third age. I believe you even have other ages. Yeah, it's crazy. You have the Numenorians. Aragorn is the center from the Numenorians. He's one of the Dunedain who has blessed him long life. Yeah, center from the Numenorians is Aragorn, I believe, right? Am I right, Lorraine fans? Yeah, I mean, you're right. Aragorn is the center from the Numenorians. He's the center from the Numenorians. And the reason why he understands the language of the elves because he was raised with the Aragorn, I believe, was raised with the elves as a ranger and everything. That's why he knows their language, I believe. Or I might be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to grasp the Lord of the Rings book, man. There's so much information. It's crazy, man. Yeah, as Lord of the Rings for me is a tough book to follow, right? It's very tough to grasp all that information in one read. Like, I gotta read Lord of the Rings at least 3-4 times to grasp maybe 40% of it. Obviously, that's why Nerd of the Rings, I don't even know how he does it, man. Like, the guy's a nerd, he knows everything about Lord of the Rings. He has all these lore videos, just like Star Wars Theory is a Star Wars nerd. He knows everything about Star Wars and the history and everything. Nerd of the Rings is a Lord of the Rings nerd. He knows everything about Lord of the Rings, like the past, the history, everything. Yeah. That's why J.R.R. Tolkien is a legend, obviously, because he created a beautiful mythological world, obviously. But Xanus is better, don't hate him, saying, yeah. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to your story, right? Even though Lord of the Rings has richer speech, richer dialogue with the language of the elves and everything, it's a richer history and deep past, and everything. The story is not as good as Xanus. Xanus is a better story, obviously. It's the better story. It's a richer, better story. Better quality story. Xanus is Lord of the Rings, in my opinion, anyways. I don't know what you guys think from what you've read, but I mean, all you Lord of the Rings fans on Lord of the Rings Reddit and Fantasy Reddit who read Lord of the Rings and who read snippets of my book, what book is more entertaining to you when you read it? I mean, some of you guys might not think what I showed you was good enough. Maybe you like Lord of the Rings better. If you do, I'm not going to judge you for it, right? I highly doubt it. My book is sick, man. It's a masterful book. I read Lord of the Rings. I read all 3 books. I know what I'm talking about, man. My book is the better reading Lord of the Rings, man. When I read it, I'm more drawn to the fantasy world. It's more richer world building, better characters, more entertaining story, and the story will blow your mind away. So yes, it's the kind of story, once you read the book, you'll be blown away by the plot, man. Holy shit, that's a masterpiece, man. I even wrote this, man. Holy shit, that's the greatest fantasy novel I've read in my life. Yeah, that's a masterpiece in this. That's why the gates won't control it, man. Yeah. Because they know I wrote a masterpiece. Yeah. As my stepmother told me, Xanus is #1, guys. Which means the families know about Lord of the Rings. They know about Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. Those are big IPs in their book publishing industry that they own. If they told me Xanus is #1, that's how you know it's the better story novels, books, obviously. It's a better book novels, books, obviously, right? As you guys read today, right? Yeah, I mean, your book is sick. Your book's a masterpiece, man. Yeah, I mean, and your writing is pretty simple. Like, you're pretty simple with your writing, but, like, it's beautifully written, Ivan. Your dialogue is amazing, and it's just so entertaining. It reads like a movie. They sound like characters in a movie, Ivan. Like a movie scene, I know. That's why Xanus is so entertaining. It's like reading a book movie. It's a masterpiece, man. Lord of the Rings, you don't really get that feeling, right? Were you hooked in some moments, Lord of the Rings? Yes, I was. Lord of the Rings has hook moments, but I didn't get that consistent hook of Lord of the Rings when I read it. I was a little bit bored in some sections of the book, right? I have to force myself to read some chapters, especially Fellowship of the Ring. Like the first half of Fellowship of the Ring, like took me a while to get through, man, because it's just Frodo, Merry, Pippin, and Sam meeting all these people, and nothing really happens. Gildor the elf, Farmer Maggot, you know what I'm saying? Tom Bombadil, Old Man Willow, you know what I'm saying? Then when they go through the Barrow Downs, it's a little bit, it picks up there a little bit. Then Tom Bombadil rescues them from the Barrow Downs, obviously. And from there, I believe they head on to Bree, and they meet the manager of the inn. That's where they first meet Aragorn. Aragorn tells them about the power of the ring race and everything. Then Frodo gets stabbed at Weathertop. And then Glorfindel takes him to Rivendell, not Arwen. In the movie, they had Arwen take Frodo to Rivendell, but no, like Glorfindel took Frodo to Rivendell through the ford. And Frodo's not a wuss in the books. He actually draws his sword while he's injured, and he confronts the ring race with his sword. Whereas in the movie, he's a wuss, obviously. Peter Jackson made that change. He made a lot of changes to the movie, right? As there is no Glorfindel in the movie. He had Arwen take Frodo to Rivendell instead, obviously, in the movie, right? Yeah. What's your favorite Lord of the Rings book, Ivan? Two Towers, my favorite. Yeah, Two Towers is the best one. My favorite movie and also my favorite book. Fellowship of the Ring for me is arguably the worst for me for the book, right? Because the first half of Fellowship of the Ring is pretty boring, man. Like it's a tough one to get through, right? No, I am saying, yeah. Most fans say Fellowship of the Ring book is the best, but for me, it's not. I like Two Towers better. It picks up more. There's more. Like when the Aaron thing you see in Two Towers is the end when Sam goes to that place. What's it called again? Earth Ungol, whatever it's called. The Stairs of Earth Ungol. What's it called again? I forget. All the way fans know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, that scene's pretty interesting. The end of Two Towers. I love the scene with Gollum. The Gollum scenes are good too, and the scene with Treewood and his wife is good too. It's pretty good, obviously. That's why Two Towers is my favorite of the three books. Yeah, I told you the books are nothing like the movie, man. Guys, when you read it, it's nothing like the movies. I read the books, nothing like the movies. The movies are completely different from the books, right? Yeah, Peter Jackson did take some scenes. I recognize a few scenes from the book that are put in the movie, but I read the movie. I watched the movie and I read the book. Like, I remember when I bought Lord of the Rings, I started reading it at night, Fellowship of the Ring. I'm like, yeah, this is nothing like the movie. I was expecting it to be like the movie. I'm like, yeah, Peter Jackson made a lot of changes, and he cut out like so many scenes, man, and characters and lands. It's crazy. He cut out a lot of things. And people tell me, Ivan, I have to do that, man. Like, you can't cram all Lord of the Rings into one movie, man. It'd be like a six-movie trilogy, and it'd be a mess, Ivan. You can't like follow it toward Ivan. Yeah, you got a point there, Peter, but you made a lot of changes, and you cut a lot of scenes. Your adoption, right? And I don't want you doing that for Xanus, Peter, or Mel, right? I don't want you guys doing that, man. Peter Jackson told me, Ivan, for your story, we don't have to worry about that, Ivan. Your story is actually easier to follow. We can actually follow it page by page, Ivan. Lord of the Rings, you can't do that, Ivan. That's why Peter had to make those changes and make so many cuts when he directed the movie like 25, 27 years ago, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go upstairs and get some milk. I'll be back in a sec. Let's get rid of my laptop. I don't hate him, son. Alright guys, sorry for long wait. Well, I'm just to get my milk. Today's my birthday, BJ. You should wish me happy birthday, right? No. Yeah. Yeah. When you read Lord of the Rings trilogy, yeah, I might read it again. Or if you guys want me to do a read-along, I can do the read-along of the second half of Fellowship Ring if you want. I read the first half to you guys a couple years ago. I can read the second half if you want. Do a read-along if you want. I might do a read-along maybe. I don't know. Probably not though. But I might reread the series on my own, right? Oh yeah, understand it more. Yeah. I also want to get into Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones, I don't know if I want to read all 5 books. But the first book, Game of Thrones, I want to read that. I might purchase it and read it. Read George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones, right? But they're long. Game of Thrones books are long, man. Like 1,000-page books, man. Something fucking crazy, yeah. No wonder George R. R. Martin has writer's block, right? Yeah. He has creative fatigue, I believe, George R. R. Martin. That's why he can't finish his Winds of Winter. Because his books are so damn long, man. If you write that long books like that, I can understand why you have creative fatigue, right? Hey, that's how sharp this guy's fucking cold. Yeah. Yeah. If you really think Peter will push for PG-13, yeah, he might. Because he thinks it's too, he might tell me, Ivy, this is too much for the kids. You should make it PG-13. I'm like, yeah, Peter, if you want my movie to be PG-13, that's why I might end up choosing Mel over you, because Xanus is not meant to be PG-13. It's a powerful story like Passion of the Christ. I want it rated R. That way the story's better and it's more powerful and the world's hooked at what I'm doing. There are no more devils and demons. And what? And they cut people's heads off and everything. Yeah, my idea for volume 1, the noble who delivers the weapon. Because when you read the book, that noble that you guys read about, obviously, after that scene when he delivers the sword, you never hear anything about him again. But I do give an explanation of what happens to him in volume 3, obviously. But in the movie, I'm going to be adding more stuff to it to make it better. My idea is the noble who delivers the weapons to the walls in Xanus, obviously. On his way back, he hears the sound of Aratat and his small army, and he hides, and they capture him, and Aratat cuts his head off. Obviously, in the prologue. That's my idea for the movie. Please, Ivan, that's genius. Yeah, he gets captured. Yeah, he hears a howl, and he gets off his horse, he hides. And the wolves find him, the wolves find him, and they bring him to Aratat. The army's laughing at him. He's terrified, and Aratat cuts his head off, obviously, with his sword. Yeah. Like, you're actually going to see Aratat cutting his head off. Peter's like, Ivan, that's dark, man. I'm like, Peter, man, like, this is going to make the movie better and more powerful. Like, the world's going to be hooked, man. I don't do him, Peter. I want this movie radar. I want everything to be devils and demons. I don't want him PG-13, Peter. I'm the boss over here. You have to listen to me, right? I'm the one paying the bills here. You have to listen to me. That's why I'm not giving Peter full power. Because people might tell me, Ivan, even though I'm the boss of your movie, right, can I do whatever I want? Yes, you can, but like I have some say, Peter, in what we do. Because this is my movie, it's my story. I don't want you ruining my story, Peter. I don't want Aratat PG-13. That's why I might have choosing Mel, right? Because I know Mel will be for the rated R. Yeah, I want to do rated R Devils, whereas Peter might push for PG-13. Because he's like, the kids can't watch it, Ivan. It's too dark for the kids. I'm like, Peter, don't play that game, man. You turned me into a fucking porn star. You guys turned me into a porn star, and all those kids watch that too, so I shut you for good. You can't say shit. There you go. Yeah, you shut for good. Yeah, I shut you for good, Peter. Don't play that game with me, man. Oh, hey, I'm saying, yeah. I'm sorry. I want Aratat looking like that, the documentary video I made like 2 months ago. I want Aratat looking like that. What I'm doing. He feasts his devil. The wolves are devils. The bats are devils. The crows are demon crows. Yeah. So you want to do a scene with the noble? Yeah. In the book, I don't explain what happens to noble. Obviously. Well, no, I do explain what happens to the noble, but you get like a brief information about him in volume 3. But that scene where when he delivers the weapon, that's the last time you see the noble after that. I don't explain what happened on his journey back. But I do give an explanation of what happens to him in volume 3. You'll see what I mean in the book. I won't spoil so for you, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Are there any plot holes in your story, Ivan? No. Obviously. No, there's no plot holes in my story. Unless you're really trying to find a mistake in my book, you might catch maybe this might be a little bit inconsistent here and there. But those are just people who are desperate trying to find a way to find flaws in my book. But I mean, just ignore the haters, right? Just like the one plot hole in Lord of the Rings, no offense, like it finally hit my mind. I'm like, yeah, if what? If the ring was meant to be destroyed, why didn't the Eagles just drop off the ring at Mount Doom? I always had that thought. Couldn't the Eagles have just taken the ring and drop it off on Mount Doom? That's the one flaw you can catch in J.R.R. Tolkien's book. But I mean, a lot of fans have given explanations about that. But it kind of begs the question, because in the end of the movie, the Eagles, in Return of the King, they rescue Sam and Frodo. I'm like, yeah, the Eagles could have easily just flew to Mordor and dropped the ring off in Mount Doom. Instead of Frodo going through all that hell, obviously, to Mount Doom. But I mean, I don't really see it as a plot hole. I mean, there's ways you can explain it on. Like, the Eagles are not, they're not hobbits, they're not human. You know what I'm saying? They're not what? They're not, that's not their what? It's not for them to take the ring to Mordor, because they don't talk, they don't have a, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They're not meant to do that, right? Like, there's other answers out there you can get, but I mean, I don't really see it as a plot. There's ways you can explain around it, but I mean, yeah. Yeah. And Sauron and Saruman has his wraiths. So the wraiths probably would sense the ring, obviously, and they would probably kill the Eagles too. So you can make an argument there, right, about the Eagles. The Eagles went to Mount Doom. They probably, the wraiths would sense the power of the ring, and they can kill them, the Eagles. So that's another good answer you can give about the Eagles, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's a good answer. All you Lord of the Rings fans, yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, that's a good answer, obviously, right? Yeah. Ivan, what's the one thing Tolkien was bad at in his book? 3 things. The first thing Tolkien is not that great at is characters. His character work in Lord of the Rings, no offense, is not the greatest. His characters they're very dull, except for Gollum. Gollum is amazingly written in the in the book. He sounds just like the character of Gollum in the movie. But like, in terms of the human characters and everything, and the orc characters, they all sound dull and they're boring characters when you read the book. But the world building is amazing. But the characters, Tolkien is not the greatest at characters. Obviously, he's not the greatest at characters. He's not the greatest at pacing either, as Lord of the Rings has quite a bit of boring chapters. So character work, pacing, romance, he's horrible at. His romance in Lord of the Rings is horrible. It's not that good. And his what? And that's it. Those are the 3 things Tolkien is not the greatest at, obviously. Character work, pacing, consistent pacing, right? And romance. Writing Tolkien is not the greatest at writing romance. His romance in Lord of the Rings is not great, obviously. Like my romance is better than his romance in Lord of the Rings, right? What are his strengths? World building, dialogue. I mean, he's amazing at dialogue. World building, dialogue, lore, mythology. Tolkien stands out in that field. But the other stuff, he's not that great, in my opinion, anyways. That's and Sarah. Yeah. But his world building is so good, man. His world building is amazing. It's so rich, it's crazy, man. Yeah. Whereas my world building in my book is vague, guys. As you guys read, right? But the world building still jumps out through the character's perspective. I'm a genius, obviously. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, even though your world building is vague, Ivan, like, you don't describe much what's going on and what the land's like and everything, it still comes alive. The characters make it come alive. Yeah. Like the scene that you guys read today, when I'm like, yeah, there was great noises all over the city, entertainment, smashing metal. You can hear Papyri can barely hear the blacksmiths forging the weapons in the armory, and he sees the entertainment. It seems like Safi's is hard at work, eh? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these are the greatest blacksmiths of the land. Yeah, like the way the characters speak makes the world building jump on a page. I'm a genius through the character's perspective, obviously. Because I know if I dump you with like 2-3 pages describing the land and everything, I could bore you. That's why I get to the point with the characters and their perspective of the world. And I give vague descriptions of the world and everything, but the world still jumps on the page through the character's perspective because the characters make it feel real. I'm a genius, obviously. I know how to tell a good story, right? Yeah, I caught that in your writing. Yeah, your world building still jumps on. Yes, it does. Even though it's vague, right? Yeah, how you do that? Like your world building, you keep it vague, but yet it still feels your world building jumps on the page like a movie. Yeah, because I'm a genius. I focus on the characters, the character work. Have the world building jump out through the character's perspective instead of dumping the reader with all these what the land's like. Have the world for real through the character's perspective, what they see, what they say about the world, how they act in the world, what they think about the world, their interactions with the other characters in that world, and that makes it jump alive on the page. I know I'm doing right. I'm a genius, obviously. I'm a great genius. Guys, I'm Sarah. Did you really write what you chose with ease? Yeah, I did, guys. I wrote with ease. Okay, fine. I'm not gonna say that. I wrote it with ease, but I did have a little bit of difficulty in some sections. Obviously, I had writer's block, but like I did not struggle writing things. I wrote that with it's hard work, man. It's my heart, my blood, sweat, and tears, man. I worked hard on Xanus, obviously, and I want to do my very best to entertain you guys. Obviously. Yeah, the world's gonna buy my book. There's nothing worse than releasing a shitty book, making billions. The world does not like your book. Let me write our masterpiece and blow their minds away. And I wrote a masterpiece, and I'm going to blow your mind away when you read my book. And at the same time, I get to be successful, and I make my billions in my book, obviously. As a reader will be curious, how much copies did you sell? Yeah, I sold 1 billion copies, BJ. I beat Harry Potter. You beat J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter? Yeah, I beat J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, BJ. Say, holy shit, I mean, look at you now. You're so successful, I know. How was money off your book, by the way? I made $25 million. You made $25 million off your book? I mean, she's like, holy shit, that's a lot of money, I know. You're going to share that with me, Adam? I guess I will, BJ. Relax, calm down, you evil woman, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to clean my room tomorrow. I'm going to clean my room a little bit tomorrow. It's getting messy. It doesn't take long to clean, though. It takes me like 30, 35 minutes to clean it. It'll take a long. Yeah. Well, Peter might tell you that your book is better than Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he will, man. He's not stupid. He'll even tell me, yeah, Ivan, you cracked the code in writing, Ivan. Like your book is unique and special, and like I've never been so entertained by a book in my life, Ivan. Like your book is more entertaining than even J.R.R. Tolkien's masterpiece, Lord of the Rings, Ivan. I enjoyed the book more than J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I know, Peter. Yo, Ivan, your book's a masterpiece. Man, how'd you come with that sort of? That's a masterpiece, Ivan. You're a genius, Ivan. I know, Peter. Shocked, obviously. Yeah. He even told me, yeah, Ivan, Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece, but it's a bit boring. I'm not gonna lie, Ivan, it's a little bit boring in some sections, but it's a masterpiece. But your book is not like that. Like your book is so entertaining, Ivan. It's a masterpiece, man. You beat out J.R.R. Tolkien, Ivan, and George R. Martin, and Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, Ivan, and Stephen Erickson's Malzahn and Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, Ivan. Like you beat all those guys. I know. Xanus is number one. That's facts all written, right? I told you, Ivan, ignore the haters, man. There's probably going to be some haters out there who will say Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones are better because they're hating on me and they're jealous and envious, honestly. Oh, I hate saying, yeah. You know, Ivan's book was amazing, but it's a bit raw, Volume 3. It's a little bit raw. I like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones better. It has better, richer worlding and everything, richer speech, richer history. Yeah, if you like those books better, guys, I'm not going to judge you for it, right? If you like those books better, I understand. Yeah. Like those books better, I understand, obviously. Yeah. That's where your movies are entertaining. Oh, yeah. Imagine the scene with the noble. The noble travels all the way from the south to the north. You have that scene, he's traveling from from the south to the north. I'm gonna add something to the movie to make it interesting. The noble travels from Saphius, obviously, and then when he reaches the Blood Valley, he's now in the north, obviously, and you can have a scene where he you don't have to do a scene where he camps, because you got to keep the story pacing. You just show the scene of him traveling, obviously, and then the attendants wait Tactius the first off. I'm here on an order from the king. I'm here to deliver a weapon for the king's son, something like that, right? I'm paraphrasing. And you get that scene, you have my thanks, noble. And on his way back, he's traveling, and then he hears a noise, a howling noise, and he tries to escape from Eretat, and Eretat and his army, they capture him, and Eretat cuts off his head. Before the battle scene in the prologue, I'm supposed to from Tactius versus Eretat, right? You can do that. It appears that's genius. No, I'm saying they capture him, he hides and everything. Yeah. He tries to escape, though he doesn't hide. He tries to escape, and they kill his horse. He gets off. He falls off his horse, and the wolves capture him, and Eretat cuts off his head. That's not in the book, but you can add that in the movie to make it interesting, obviously. That's why we're looking at Masterman. Here's Ivan, that's already entertaining. Yeah, like you have Eretat is a devil, like how I showed you. And the noble's scared for his life, and Eretat kills him, cuts his head off with his sword. Yeah. That's why we're looking at an amazing movie. Yeah. Where does he cut his head off? Yeah, at the Blood Valley. When he reaches the Blood Valley, the noble Eretat cuts off his head. And the army's laughing at him and everything because they're devils, obviously. That's why it'll create a powerful story I'm doing. That's why I want Eretat to be a radar devil. I don't want him PG-13 Peter. Or Mel, right? I want him rated R, guys. You have to listen to me. Because I guarantee Peter Jackson will push for PG-13 because he's used to PG-13. Ivan, PG-13 is good enough, man. You don't have to have a rated R, Ivan. I'm like, Peter, they're called the devil wolves for a reason in my book. I want them to be devils. I don't want them to be PG-13 beings. Will they be scary PG-13? No, not really. They'll be something like Lord of the Rings, right? So they're a little bit freaky, but they're not that scary because they're PG-13 beings, right? As the orcs in Lord of the Rings are not that scary. They're a little bit freaky. Like the orcs in Fellowship of the Ring Especially the Orc High Army 2 Towers were pretty freaky, but they're not that scary. Like, that's my point, man. Because I'm not scary enough. I'm like, Peter, no, man. I want Aertat to be our devil. I don't want you to be my story, man. I'm the boss of you have to listen to me. I want Aertat to be the most rated movie in movie history, and I want him to be a radar devil. So I'm saying, yeah, listen to me, Peter. I'm the boss over you. Don't hate him saying, yeah. I'm the boss over you, man. I'm saying. You guys don't talk about. You saw my documentary. Yeah, think of demons like that. It's scary than that, right? A little bit scary than that. They're devils, man. They're devils and demons. Yeah. That's why Xanus is kind of like bringing the Bible to life in a fantasy world when you read the book. Obviously, even though it's not a Bible story, it's like bringing the Bible to life in a fantasy world. It's a fucking masterpiece, man. But it's not a Bible story, as you guys read, right? It's not like the Bible, no. It's a fantasy epic story, but you can get some biblical themes and symbolism from when you read it, especially when you're going through. You'll see what I mean. I'm supposed to for you. Sorry. Yeah. That way, it's a more powerful story, yes. You have everything be devils and demons, it's going to be a powerful story. Like why that world is the way it is. The devil wolves live in the south. Devil bats live in the mountains. They're cursed. The south is cursed. You know what I'm saying? It's a powerful story. When you see John Maega, Von Joji, and Jimon Zu and Idris Elba fighting these demonic beings, you feel for them and you hope they don't die and everything. And when they defeat them, you're like, oh my god, you applaud. Holy shit. John Maega's a fucking legend, man. Like, he fought these demon beings. Von Joji's a legend. Ivan's a legend. Jimon Zu's a legend. Andy Serkis is a legend. Yeah, they're all legends, man, because they fought the most beings of history. It's a powerful story. It makes the story more powerful. That's why the Xanus are going to be legends, man. I have to say this. They're going to be legends, man. They're going to be world famous, man. That's why they're going to be more successful in Hollywood. I told you, they're going to beg. They don't want to go back to Hollywood, guys. Yeah, I want to work for you. I don't want to go back to Hollywood. But I'm sorry, guys. You're not good for the Great Kind of Reason. I keep saying that, right? You're not good. Don't hate him, said, yeah. You're not good for the Grace of Keanu Reeves. Mother Tamar Peter, guys, I want this to be the most powerful movie ever made. And the greatest story ever told. If you want this to be the greatest story ever told and be the most powerful story ever told, you gotta have everything be devils. I don't do it, guys. That way it's a powerful story and the world is hooked when they watch the movie. Please don't die. I hope these guys don't die. Like, yeah. Just like I had that feeling with the Avengers with Thanos. Even though Thanos was not that scary, he was a very formidable villain. I had that feeling, oh man, I hope these guys don't die. The Avengers don't die. And I felt bad for them a little bit because it was hopeless versus Thanos. You kind of had that feeling with Aertat. Aertat is very formidable like Thanos. But unlike Thanos, Aertat is a devil. Because Thanos is not that scary, but he's a very formidable opponent. Aertat's formidable, he's also demonic and he's horrifying to look at. He's a devil, man. And that makes the story more powerful. I don't do it. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Will John Han Ali tell you it's a bit too scary? Yeah, like Ivan, you want Aertat and the Devil Wolves looking like these demonic faces here? Yeah, I want like 4 different looks for the wolves. Some of them look like the Aertat clip here in my documentary. Some of them look like the Black Phone mask picture. Some of them look like Pennywise the Clown. Okay, obviously you're saying, don't copy it, make it original, but have them look something like that, guys. But I want Aertat 2 to 3 times scarier. Make Aertat and all the wolves as scary as possible. Like, push it to the limit, Ivan? Yeah, John Ali, push it to the limit. Okay, Ivan. You want them to be like the most scary devils ever made? Yeah. Okay, I mean, Ivan, that's a bit too much. That's way too scary. No, guys, make them scary. Like that. And once they draw the pages and we do the contours, I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking scary. These are demons. Yeah. And people tell me, Ivan, this is just a concept art page. Because once we design the mask, the costume and mask, like they'll be animal. I'm going to tell the people I want the mask and costume is something like they'll be an animal here for demonic characters. Except better technology than this because I'm putting so much money towards the movie, obviously. And their demonic masks. And Peter's like, yeah, Ivan, once you apply all the specialized and visualized words, all this, you're looking at devils, Ivan. The most better reading movie history. This is way too scary, Ivan. I'm like, Peter, I know what I'm doing, man. You want this movie to be the greatest movie you've ever made? How to be devils? What I'm doing. We make an amazing movie together. That way, the Exodus scene is powerful. Like, Tactius saved the Salamanders from the devils, and Eratat and his demonic fighting army arrive to the city. Eratat finds out it's empty, obviously, and he's all pissed off. There's no trace of Investing Sideways. It makes the story more powerful, the world's hooked, and you have the Exodus, like Prince of Egypt. They journey through the caverns, and the demon bats are sleeping in the caverns, like Moria. And it's a powerful story. And it'll finally hit Rue's mind, holy shit, man, this is like biblical level deep, Ivan. Yeah, this is going to be the greatest story ever told. Ivan, this is better than my Lord of the Rings. All right, I know it's better than the Rings. No, Ivan, seriously, bro, this is going to be better than my Lord of the Rings. I know it's better than the Rings. This is the greatest story ever told, Ivan. I hope you relax, calm down. Sarah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Give me a sec. I'm going to fill my bottle with water. Get some water, guys. Almost on the video. Right, guys. Wanted to get some water. Ugh. Yeah. Alright, so you're telling me for 1,000 years the wolves never went to Cyrus or Saphius? No. The wolves never touched the lands. You kind of get the same vibe with Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings, you have the hobbits, they live in the Shire, and they're kind of cut off from the rest of Middle Earth, and the orcs never went to Cyrus, never went to Hobbiton. The hobbits are living at peace in Hobbiton, right? And yet, finally, when Frodo, when they find out that the ring is in the Shire, that's when the Ringwraiths journey to Hobbiton, and the hobbits have never seen the Ringwraiths before. You kind of get that vibe with Lord of the Rings. Here's how my teacher saying you kind of have my Shire vibe in my Lord of the Rings. Well, yeah, the wolves never touched the lands for generations until Taki generation, because Taki generation is the lucky generation, obviously. Here's the man. You're looking at a map like my Lord of the Rings. I'm like, yeah, Peter, relax, calm down, you nerd. Yeah. Other fans, you know what I'm saying? As you're saying, in the Shire, the hobbits are kind of cut off from the outside world, the rest of Middle Earth. Yes, obviously, and yet finally, when Smeagol or Gollum tells him that the ring is in the Shire, that's when the Ringwraiths journey to Hobbiton, and the hobbits have never seen the Ringwraiths before. Well, you kind of have a similar vibe with Eratat. The Salamanders are kind of living at peace in Cyrus, and finally in Tag Generation, the wolves mark the land. They come to the lands, man. And Tactius saves them. saves the Safians. He doesn't save the Syrians, but he saves the Safians from Eretan and his devil wolves, obviously. He was looking at a map, I know people. This is Lord of the Rings, nobody's Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Ivan, do you get that vibe in the end of Return of the King when the hobbits are all sitting down at the brewery and they have a drink and they know what they went through, right? The journey they went through, and they give a toast. Obviously, yes, you do. You do get that vibe in Xanus too. After what hell all those characters went through, you kind of have stuff like that too. I won't spoil the story for you. So I'm going to read the book. I won't spoil the story for you. But it's not like Lord of the Rings. It's different Lord of the Rings. I didn't copy Lord of the Rings, right? It's different Lord of the Rings. But you do get that vibe, though. In the end of Volume 3. I won't spoil the story for you, right? But if you think the characters in Lord of the Rings went through hell, it's nothing. The characters in Xanus are literally in hell, man. They went through hell. They went through that journey with Tacius, man. It's about Tacius. It's his story. But they went through that horrific, dark episode with Tacius too. I don't want to spoil the story for you. Whereby when Tacius is in agony, some of those characters are crying, man. I don't want to spoil the story, but it's going to be, that's why it's a powerful story. Blow your mind. It's deep, man. All I'm going to say is that some of those characters that you guys are reading about now in Volume 1 and 2, wait till you read Volume 3 when everything is dark and deep, they go through that hell and journey with Tacius, man, whereby some of them are crying when he's in agony. I won't spoil the story for you, right? That's all I'm going to say. That's why I say this is a masterpiece, obviously. That's why the gays will control my brand, because they know I did it, obviously. I even wrote that fucking masterpiece, man. He owns the rights to that. He has the keys, and that's like $25 billion for him and BJ. I don't want to pay that rich for BJ. People came with BJ. Yeah, they're crazy people. I want to take his money, give him the peanuts, and dupe him. Yeah, because they're crazy people, obviously. Yeah. Is Aratak scary in the book? No, not really, as you guys read. He's not that scary. But Ephesus is pretty freaky, but they're not that scary. It's a book, right? Even though it's a horror fantasy novel, the demonic characters are not that scary in the book because it's a book, right? But they're pretty freaky in Volume 3, I'm not gonna lie. They're pretty freaky. You'll feel for Tacius and everything. But they're not that scary. But once I bring the characters to life, they're actually demons. That's when you guys are gonna feel, obviously. And that's why this movie will have crazy buzz. Once the world sees the demonic characters and everything, holy shit, those are devils, man. And yeah, and you're gonna feel bad for, oh my god, Ivan, John, Yvonne, Joje, Jimon, Sue, Edges, Alba, I feel bad, Ani Circus. I'm saying Don Cheadle, I feel bad for all those guys, man. Yeah, you feel bad for us. And the whole was going crazy, and the movie has crazy buzz, man. And the actors are going to be famous. Movie stars are going to be legends. That's why they're going to beg, man. But they're not good for the great kind of reason. Keep saying that, right? That's why even The Great Escape, even though The Great Escape will be most likely be a masterpiece too, an amazing movie, will not be Xanus, right? Xanus will beat out all those movies. It's too good of a story, right? You can't beat that. Yeah. Are you saying Xanus will blow the rings out of the water? No. It won't blow out of the water. It's very tough to top the rings. It will be a better movie trilogy. Obviously. I'll show you Prince of Egypt to get an idea what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. I even show Peter Jackson this, or Mel Gibson, the Prince of Egypt clip. The way you give Peter good ideas for the Exodus, man. Like, Peter, I want it to be something like Prince of Egypt. Yeah, I even like Jimon Su, he pats you on the shoulder, right? You don't know what journey lies ahead, and the Gilead's caverns, the bats were sleeping in there. I'm like, yeah, Peter, it's holy shit. And they're scared with torches, and you guys don't know what journey lies ahead. I'm like, yeah. Peter's like, holy shit, man. An Exodus of that size, and they're scared with torches in the caverns like Moria, and the demon bats are sleeping in there. Holy shit, this is a massive. I know, Peter, this is Lord of the Rings. Don't be Lord of the Rings. Whereas if you have Aratat and the Bats PG-13, when they go on that journey, it's still a masterpiece, obviously, but it's not as powerful. The world's not as hooked because they're not that scary. If you have them be devils and they're scared with torches and everything, it's like biblical level deep, and it's dark and deep, and it becomes a powerful, entertaining masterpiece. Right? I'm doing it right. I'll show you Prince of Egypt, guys. Yeah. I'm gonna shut this camera off here. I made 4 videos today. That's good enough for you guys. I'm tired. I don't get paid for this shit, so you better enjoy these Sabbath videos while I'm getting on my main videos. I keep saying that already. Yeah. Show Peter or Mel, Ivan, the Prince of Egypt clip. That way they know, obviously. It's cold in here, man. Here's the scene. Think someone is for the axis, except it's not like this. This is ancient Egypt, right? Like my movie is a fantasy world, but think of a vibe like this for the Exodus, obviously. I'm gonna skip it here. Think something like this for the Exodus. Here's this Lord of the Rings. Nobody's Lord of the Rings, I'm saying. That way you get Peter ideas or Mel, right? Yeah, think of an Exodus like this. Yeah. Except it's not as much people, right? It's only 6,000 civilians, right? Yeah. They're happy because Taki has saved the land. Yeah. Look at that masterpiece, man. You see me walking in front, in my horse in front with Jimo and Sue, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Here's Ivan. You're looking at our masterpiece. I know, man. There's only burn other things. Imagine a scene like this, guys. And they journey through the caverns and the devil bats live there. Look at a sick movie, man. And Aratat finds out the city's empty with his demon army. Yeah. See the scene here? Yeah. You see they have torches. And Jimon C pats me on the back. Yeah. Okay, this scene here. Picture something like this for when the people arrive and they're journeying through the mountains. The mountains don't look like that though. The mountains are like rocky green mountains, and the civilians are walking through the mountains. And that's Ephesus territory. Show Peter this, Ivan, that way he knows. Yeah. And that's why you're looking at a fucking masterpiece, man. You have an axis like that, and they're in the mountain region, Ephesus territory, and Aratat's army finds out the city's empty, and they're devils like that. And so think something like Moria, but on steroids. You have like 6,000 civilians journeying in there, whereas Lord of the Rings was only 9 people. For my movie, you have like 6,000 civilians with Tacitus and all them. Obviously, and they camp in there and everything, and then it's like Moria, it's an ancient city, and then the bats are sleeping in the rooms and everything, man. And they're devils, man. And you also have the scene going on with Aratat, the empty city. When Aratat's camping, he talks about the deep past, and they're all, you have a 20,000 amount of army like that. You're looking at a masterpiece, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Show Peter, Prince of Egypt, that way he knows, or Mel Gibson. saying? And Peter Jackson again with her eye. I see what you're saying. You wanted something like that? Yeah, to scare with torches. I'm like, yeah, Peter's eye, man. You're looking at a masterpiece, man. This is biblical level deep, Ivan. This is gonna be up by Lord of the Rings. And Ivan, this is Lord of the Rings. Always Lord of the Rings. I'm saying it's Lord of the Rings, man. Yeah, it's a masterpiece, my book, man. My story, right? Yeah. Looking at a powerful story. Yeah. Yeah. Will Peter get ideas of that? Yeah, he will. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We have Jimon Su, he pat you on the back like Moses, like Aaron did to Moses and Prince of Egypt. Yeah, we can do that. That way it's powerful, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's what it aims to be a masterpiece with the great servant told. Anyways, guys, if you ever enjoyed the show, it's Armor. I'm saying all peace. Hope you guys enjoyed my America. Peace out. Xanus.